Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Sofia Gutierrez. The administration of California State University Northridge recently informed students that a campus employee tested positive. The school confirmed that the person has not been on campus in more than a week, but anyone who came in contact with this person has been advised to self-quarantine if the symptoms are present. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, CSUN moved to virtual classes online. Also, for now, Valley View News will present some of our favorite stories from the past, along with a few stories our reporters recently did while working in the San Fernando Valley.
Transportation comes in many forms. Nikhil Schneider from CSUN Sustainable Transportation staff wants to cater to the diverse transportation needs of students on campus while being ecologically friendly.
Specifically, student commuting is about half of our total greenhouse gas emissions. And the university has pledged to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions down to zero by 2040.
New sustainable changes cost nearly $1 million. So funding must come from other campus resources in order to put these ideas into action.
Parking's budget comes from associated student fees, parking permit sales, and fines.
Bike racks and paths like Jacaranda Walk are established using the Sustainability Department's budget. Transportation Coordinator Astrid Logan says student-friendly transportation modes were in the works, but COVID-19 put that on pause.
We were in discussions with Metrolink to develop something very similar. It's still kind of in the workings, but we weren't able to come up with a big flash, for it like we wanted to.
CSUN sustainability and transportation experts say carpooling and subsidized transit passes can help to cut campus gas emissions. They say if we don't start now, we're already behind. Reporting from Sherman Oaks, I'm Tyler Ridgel for Valley View News.
Jay Posey, aka Stacks, runs his own seafood kitchen at PJ's Grill in Carson, California. His family's culinary background stems from Mississippi, and Stacks is carrying on the family tradition.
The pricing and everything on here is actually a good price if you go to other competitors and see that they portion their food. But we don't. We just throw it on your plate, we pack it up, and we make sure that people get full and people get happy.
I just got back from a really long trip, and so one of the first things I wanted was 3 Stacks Kitchen.
During happy hour, every plate is one price.
When happy hour is here, it's a full house.
Entrees feature your choice of protein, rice, corn, potatoes, and sausage. The most popular item, the salmon and shrimp.
I like to just not burn the food, keep it nice looking. The sauce adds all the flavor, so very little seasoning, try not to make it salty so that people can enjoy the seafood.
As a chef, each day consists of prepping, chopping, thawing, sorting the seafood for what the restaurant's daily needs are, and then going from there. Orders can feature crab, lobster, and more.
I always order the shrimp and steak,
Gumbo,
crab on the side,
chicken,
I get my grandma the salmon,
lobster,
and the steak on the side, and that's how we go.
With the uncertainties of the coronavirus, 3 Stacks Kitchen, like other restaurants, is taking all the necessary precautions to serve safe takeout orders to locals. Reporting from Carson, California, I'm Amari Martin, Valley View News.
Small businesses are being affected due to COVID-19. At Plaza del Valle, they have been struggling to maintain themselves open, even when their sales are on the downfall. For Faustino Perez at Los Pastelitos Caseros Donuts and Bakery, it's been a challenge to keep operating as one of the few shops who can still do so. I lose more when I open than if I were to be closed because you need to have the product fresh and it's a lot that goes to waste. But he is not the only one. Victor Peraza and his family own El Tamarindo restaurant and have been open for 8 months. They have been using social media to try and increase their sales. The truth is that we have been posting on the internet, giving promotions and giving away something after you spend maybe $10, like for example a soda or something like that. These small businesses have also been forced to close earlier than usual. Several businesses continue to stay open and running, hoping that soon they can see normality. In Panorama City, I'm Brenda Saldana for Valley View News.
She created this scene that was...
The Hildegard's first ever symposium took place at Colburn School of Music. The Hildegardes is a networking group for professional women in classical music. Stacy Brightman, Vice President of LA Opera Connect's department, said the symposium helps women gain power and opportunities in a male-dominated field.
Great questions are being raised, and a lot of encouragement is happening. We're having a lot of women giving each other phone numbers, giving each other our emails.
Been deeply inspired.
These women include conductors, professors, singers, and producers like Beth Morrison. She creates avant-garde work that reflects modern social issues. Composers like Juhi Bansal also share the importance of a woman's voice in the classical music industry.
Working as a composer in Los Angeles, let's say even 5 years ago, I feel like it was a much different scene where I didn't know at that point of any other composer who was female and a woman of color.
With more women of color gracing the stages of LA Opera, the symposium addressed ways that art and narratives from multicultural women can create the change Bansal hopes to see.
Hopefully when you hear the stories of how the other 100 women in the room have made it work, you can piece that together into something that resonates with you and helps you craft your own direction.
In the fast-changing world of classical music, championing women artists and their stories provides the revolutionary voice necessary for the future of the industry. Reporting from Los Angeles for Valley View News, I'm Xochitl Hernandez.
The raids, the family separation, the deportations of immigrants. The Immigration Justice Committee and 46 organizations are tired of it all. Fayyaz Nawawi was part of the group that came together in front of City Hall to demand change.
We believe it is imperative that these detention centers are shut down.
The protesters want to break the notion that their only solution is to rely on the Democratic and Republican parties. Maeve Campbell of the Revolutionary Internationalist Organization says the mobilization of the working class is the answer to ending these deportations.
Because the working class has the power to shut down capitalist profits and demand that we defend immigrants.
Governor Newsom recently signed a bill named SB 32. It demands that federal detention facilities in California be shut down. During the protest, participants laid down to represent the many immigrant deaths since President Donald Trump took office.
No Trump, no KKK, no racist USA!
The participating organizations believe no human being is illegal in this country. Rather, they think people should greet immigrants with friendship. Lisa Salvery says people should think more before taking action in any matter.
About all what the laws that we pass, who we vote for, we have to think about the fallout that's happening, and the detention camps is just one part of that, a bigger problem and bigger issue.
Protesters have gathered in hopes that in the 2020 election, a presidential candidate will take action in ending the deportation of immigrants. In Los Angeles for Valley View News, I'm Elena Tovar. The past few days have been somber in the Santa Clarita Valley. Thousands show support for victims who lost their lives in the SAUGUS high school shooting. The 16-year-old shooter, a student at the school, killed two of his peers, Dominic Blackwell and Gracie Ann Muehlberger. He then turned a gun on himself. CELINE, a SAUGUS student, heard the gunshots herself.
I was walking to class when I heard 3 gunshots and I saw people running. And it didn't hit me at first of what was going on, and I saw people falling on top of each other, screaming and crying, and that's when I knew something was wrong.
Many gave out free SAUGUS Strong shirts, glow sticks, donuts, and blankets. Families, relatives, and close friends of the victims spoke. Emma Bartel, a friend of Blackwell, says his memory will always be in their hearts.
It will be a long, painful walk to class without him on December 2nd. My heart breaks for his family and for the pain that they're going through. Nothing can replace his loss and no words can heal our hearts. But we can honor him by remembering him.
The shooting was traumatic for students, but it also traumatized the victims' families. Grandmother Maria Orozco says her granddaughter was very frightened when this shooting occurred.
The girl was very scared. She had to run to another room and everyone was scared. We were all full of fear because we never thought this would happen here.
Thousands of blue glow sticks rose high in remembrance of the victims. Later, many glow sticks were placed on a fence near the high school. Charlotte Steiger says these constant shootings aren't fair.
I don't see a logical reason why this should keep going, and I think that we do need reform. I think we need anything at this point to help out for the communities.
In Santa Clarita for Valley View News, I'm Elena Tovar.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
She survived over 20 surgeries and 2 strokes. At the age of 2, Riley Weinstein was diagnosed with concomitant angioma, a brain aneurysm. Weinstein says the strokes left her paralyzed on the left side of her body.
I had to relearn to do everything. I had to learn how to walk, talk, eat, speak, and hold my head up on my own.
Weinstein is now an independent dance instructor for special needs students. She's also a dancer, choreographer, and a public speaker. She says her love for dancing and exercising helped her recover from her medical complications. She says she has noticed improvements in her special needs students as well.
I've had students who have been in my class who couldn't walk at all, and on the last day they walked out of my class.
Using different types of dances, students are able to learn rhythm and listening skills. A student of Weinstein, Natalie Severa, who was diagnosed with DeGeorge syndrome, says her instructor motivates her to be active.
I would say Riley encourages me.
Yeah, good job!
That really helps me want to do it better.
Everybody wants to be happy and to be accepted.
Natalie's mom, Bonnie Severa, appreciates Weinstein. She treats her daughter just like anybody else.
I think all of us have a lot to learn from people that are different.
Weinstein says she isn't embarrassed because of her disability. Rather, she embraces it. Weinstein says not judging yourself is key to being happy.
You have to have confidence in yourself first before anybody else can have confidence in you.
Whether it be dancing, exercising, or doing an activity you love, Riley is a reminder to never lose sight of our dreams because anything is possible. In Santa Clarita for Valley View News, I'm Elena Tovar.
Today, the city of Los Angeles is replacing Columbus Day with its first annual Indigenous Peoples Day. Hundreds gathered in Grand Park to recognize and celebrate Native Americans. Tosh Montana performed at the event and says today is a historic day.
I'm so happy because this used to be Christopher Columbus Day. I'm just happy that they're actually having a day to honor us, the people who were here first.
LA County is home to the largest population of Indigenous people. Natives say events like these are very important. They say it helps preserve their culture and brings communities together.
Well, I think when people who are not Native American think about the idea of Native Americans, they think about it in the past, we're not here still. And I think it's important for us to come together as a group, as a family and as a union. It's really nice.
The all-day event featured live music from the Black Eyed Peas and Native American artists. Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas spoke to the crowd and thanked City Council member Mitch O'Farrell for organizing the event.
We are very proud to be representing LA, and we thank the councilman for making this Indigenous Peoples Day happen, and everyone here celebrating.
The suspect, Peter Way, practiced jiu-jitsu here at Gracie Baja Gym, just 2 miles away from the CSUN campus where the attacks took place.
Amanda Bermejo trained with Way.
He wasn't aggressive just by looking at him or talking to him. He was very talkative and he really wanted to get close to you. The aggression didn't come out till on the mats, and then it was full on.
Bermejo practiced with Way often, during routine sparring sessions known as rolling. She recalls being shocked by Way's intensity. She says the alleged attacks on 2 female CSUN students didn't surprise her.
especially when one of the victims said that he looked like he was going to like revenge on her. That's when I'm like, yeah, I know that feeling because I felt that too rolling with him.
CSUN's police chief, Ann Glavin, says fighting back against an attacker is key. She also says it's important to draw attention to the situation by any means necessary.
And so you have to do what you have to do. And if that means fighting back, kicking, screaming, getting other people's attention, you've got to do it. And these women did it and did it well.
In Northridge, I'm Veronica Barriga. More than 12,000 people showed up outside of Los Angeles City Hall to hear 2020 presidential candidate and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. The crowd cheered as Bernie spoke out against Wall Street and special interest groups.
We say that whether you like it or not, the United States will join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care to all people as a right.
Cal State Dominguez Hills student Alexis Allencanter says she's followed Bernie's politics for years. She admires his willingness to restructure the political system.
I love that he was one of the first to put a spotlight on the corrupt system we have in politics. So campaign finance reform is a huge thing because I think it's the root of the problem that we have in the system.
Sanders also held rallies in San Diego and San Francisco. He says his 2020 campaign will be different than his last.
Oh, we're going to win California. We're going to win the Democratic nomination.
Bernie Sanders and his supporters are ready for change. They say they will continue fighting no matter what. I'm here in downtown Los Angeles for Valley View News, Veronica Barriga. Stagehands are on deck and lighting cues are called as performance artist Mzuri Moyo Mbaye moves through rehearsal. It's for her one-woman show, The Fannie Lou Hamer Story.
High school student was in that jail cell.
Hamer was a civil rights activist. During the 1960s, she was jailed and beaten for exercising her right to vote.
People don't realize that after they amended the 14th Amendment, it took 95 years for blacks to be able to vote after that, after slavery ended.
The show pays tribute to Hamer's testimony at the 1964 Democratic Convention, which many say helped pass the Voting Rights Act the next year. For Mbaye, the project is personal. She says it allowed her to transform her anger and change her life.
Fannie Lou Hamer's rage was channeled, mine wasn't, so I felt that doing this performance, writing this play and performing it after 18 years, I've had a way to channel my anger and my life is so much better.
Mbaye hopes her performance can inspire others in their darkest days. But the real takeaway, she says, can be found in Fannie Lou's favorite song.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. That they can shine their light, Everybody has a light and they should shine it.
In Northridge, for Valley View News, I'm Veronica Barriga.
There is no crisis, and you're not gonna get any $5 billion.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters joined the activists to show her support. She said California is leading the way in the fight against the declaration.
We don't care whether it's a concrete wall, it's a steel wall, or it's a beaded curtain. We're not going for it.
Several groups attended the rally, including a resist Trump group called Indivisible. Vlad Popescu, who helped organize the protest, said they're here to unite and resist.
And he's creating fear in order to push his racist agenda. And we're here to say, no, this is a fake emergency and you're not doing the right thing.
Many protesters held signs and posters while chanting, "Fake emergency." LA resident Nancy Villa said she thinks Trump shouldn't be in office.
Congress holds the purse strings. He couldn't get what he wanted, and he decided to declare this national emergency. I'm hoping it'll go through the courts and they'll make it right.
California is one of 15 states, including Colorado and New Mexico, who are filing a lawsuit against President Trump's declaration.
In downtown LA, I'm Samantha Rodriguez for Valley View News. Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Lake Elsinore is experiencing its first super bloom in many years. Orange poppies fill the hillsides. The super bloom is a popular tourist attraction. Hundreds of people are visiting the trails. It's also the perfect place to take pictures.
I think that's what everyone's doing. I'm looking around, everyone's just like snapping away.
Ernie Malero drove 2 hours to get the perfect shot.
It was awesome.
While many visitors were taking pictures of the flowers, some did yoga with the flowers. Others just admired them. Illustrator Scott Brazy says he came to the super bloom to paint the poppies. He says this is a rare occasion.
Getting a chance to see like a natural phenomenon like this in person and then record it, you know, how not just what it looks like through a picture, but like how I see it and how I feel about it is just like a special moment, I think.
Visitors are also seeing painted ladies flying through the hillsides of Walker Canyon.
Yeah, that's an extra special treat.
Michelle Salmon and Gary Lynch say the migration of butterflies is what makes this super bloom special.
I've lived here my whole life, which is a long time. I'm getting old, and I've never seen that, so it's really nice.
As you can see, there are millions of poppies throughout the hills. The super bloom has attracted hundreds of people all over Southern California to visit the famous flowers. In Lake Elsinore, I'm Samantha Rodriguez for Valley View News.
Got a little baby on here too. Sports fishing is a thriving business with a $4.6 billion impact on California and employs over 33,000 people. But is it good for the environment?
Absolutely, because there's a limit on fish that you catch.
But a study in Scientific Report shows that 46% of trash accumulated by the Great Pacific Garbage Patch comes from fishing gear. Channel Island sport fishing captain Don Rowell says independent anglers aren't to blame.
There's a lot of conservation efforts that are paid for by fishing licenses, by sale of tackle, by our association.
About 40 miles away, as the pelican flies, is environmental researcher Sean Anderson. He says positive ecological change will occur once people become active in collecting data. He says the more people go fishing, the more people will learn about the environment.
I really, really hope people get out and about and do stuff. Part of that means go fishing.
One of those people trying deep-sea fishing for the first time was 30-year-old Marvin Oriana. Oriana on his first try reeled in a 5-pound, 10-ounce lingcod, the biggest fish on the boat, an experience he wanted to share with his father.
I think he will be absolutely stoked to see the fish I was able to catch on my first time out.
Whether it's catching fish or collecting data, the ocean is a much safer place for all inhabitants when sportsmen and scientists are working together. From off the coast in Oxnard, California, I'm Ethan Hansen, Valley View News. Birmingham forward Noel Ortega has never taken the easy road to success. A path forged through endless hours of dedication on the field and in the classroom. This season, Ortega scored 25 goals and racked up 14 assists for Birmingham while maintaining a 3.5 grade point average. It was good enough to earn him a scholarship to Cornell University.
Said with all the emotions that have been going on like these past couple months, it just taught me to appreciate everything I have. Just make the best out of everything that I have right now and as I move forward in life.
Birmingham coach E.B. Madhoff first saw Ortega as a freshman.
The focus that he has, determination, and you know, he's such a humble kid on top of all that. He just does his job wherever he's at, and that just speaks volumes about his character.
Ortega began playing soccer in elementary school when he met Julio Vigueras. This season, Vigueras was named co-captain with Ortega.
I never thought we'd make this far. Now we're seniors, have our first classes, and now we're both captains on this team, and we're helping each other out.
The work by Ortega and his team culminated in Birmingham winning the CIF LA City section title. It was done while keeping his grades up and maintaining a part-time job at In-N-Out to support his family.
Since preschool, he has been very disciplined, dedicated, and studious.
No matter what life throws at him, Ortega always keeps his balance through school, work, and on the soccer pitch. From Birmingham High School in Van Nuys, I'm Ethan Hansen. Coach Sean Kalani has a soft voice,
Locks him out and gets a rebound.
but her intensity is clear.
I want to be around the game.
She is also the sister of former NBA player Jordan Farmar. Kalani was a point guard at Taft High School, and then she played Division III basketball at Transylvania University. After working as an assistant for the Los Angeles Lakers, she returned to her alma mater as an assistant to put what she learned in the NBA to the test.
She's been a great coach for us this year, coming back, really just helping out, teaching new techniques, showing us all things that are really useful for us in games.
She got a warm reception when she returned to Taft, but that didn't mean some players didn't challenge their new coach. Senior Brandon Wilson said Kalani held her own and beat her young critics in three-point contests.
A couple guys thought she was just here. She never really had no experience, and she had to shoot him out of the gym really quick.
She shot him out of the gym real quick. How quick?
Really quick. It was over before we began.
Start in front of somebody. When they see that somebody knows what they're talking about, they listen. And so it's been a great experience, and I can't really can't complain about anything.
Sean Kalani has shown that gender does not matter, just leadership and knowledge. From John Furlong Gymnasium in Woodland Hills, I'm Ethan Hansen, Valley View News.
6 weeks of rain has taken a lot of trash from LA's streets into the gutters. Clearly marked no dumping, yet a lot of trash still ends up here at Santa Monica Beach.
We get an inch of rain in LA, that's about 10 billion gallons of water that rushes from the upper watershed into our storm drains and creeks and straight out to the ocean.
The SURFRIDER Foundation brings volunteers together several times a month to clean up the mess. Nearby at Heal the Bay Aquarium, Director Jenna Siegel says ocean wildlife, including fish and birds, eat the trash that ends up here.
There are estimates that about 100,000 marine mammals and about 1 million seabirds are killed every single year.
Back at the beach, volunteers dump the trash they've collected into one large pile. They sort items they'll reuse, recycle, or throw away. But volunteers and staff leaders say the solution isn't how much they clean up, but how you consume products.
And see how they can maybe cut out some of the things that they're using from things that they might be seeing in their communities and on our beaches.
While there are many beach cleanups going on to protect our ocean wildlife and our beaches, volunteers say that banning the use of single-use products is the way to go. Reporting in Santa Monica for Valley View News, I'm Angela Rose.
Thank you for joining us on a very special edition of Valley View News. The COVID-19 crisis forced us to make adjustments to our programming, so we replayed a few of our favorite stories from the past. I'm Sofia Gutierrez. See you next week.